What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now Plus. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about Mafia Definitive Edition yet again. Kind of go back to praising the game, as I've done actually quite often, both on this channel and on Podcast Now. Look, I know this is old at this point. It's probably almost a week old, but, last week, well, firstly, we got more gameplay. We got a new trailer, Gamescom, all that kind of stuff. That's exciting. We also had basically a media preview. I believe that was like last Wednesday, last Tuesday, where a lot of members of media were able to play. I believe it was like 6 levels, 6 missions from the game and give their thoughts. I watched IGN's, I watched a couple other ones, and look, I kind of just want to react to that. The game just continues to look absolutely amazing. There's really no better way to say it. This is a weird example of a game because I talk about a lot of games. Okay, a lot of games I'm very, very high on, kind of straightforward, and maybe I'm so high on a specific part of them that I kind of ignore the weaknesses. Okay, other games are very up and down. I'm excited for some parts, but some parts scare me. And then there's some games that's just like it's a train wreck. I just feel that there's something majorly wrong with it leading into it. I mean, there's obviously always different examples of these things. Mafia has been one of those games, and there's been others. There's absolutely been others, but Mafia has been one of those games that I think from the beginning has just always looked good. You know what I mean? Has just always had a positive vibe to it. There's concerns, but they're kind of they're outlining concerns where it's like, well, all it needs to do is kind of pull off what it's trying to do. And as long as it does that, this is a Mafia for 2020. It's a Mafia based, built off of the Mafia. It is the Mafia of, 2002's game, like all of those, what I mean? All those things. But when you look at it, I mean, the game just looks incredible visually, and even the people that have done the previews, they all said it too. Visually, this game is astounding. This is a Mafia for like right now. There's some things that don't are fully 2020, or we're right at the the brink of next gen. We're not at the lighting phase yet for all of these games, so the lighting isn't all that great for this game. But I mean, the story looks amazing. The gameplay looks really solid. There wasn't a lot I can, bicker on with Mafia 3's gameplay. Mafia 3, I think, just didn't really put I've talked about it before. It just is not a game that spoke to me. But the gameplay was fine. And Mafia 2, I would say the gameplay was not fine. But Mafia, this game, looked pretty good in terms of its gameplay. I don't think it's going to be outstanding. But again, kind of the smaller details you see in a lot of the gameplays, like when you shoot people, where you hit them, that impact, it means something. And I by the way, I adore games that do that. That's such a small detail, but it's something that I think hopefully more games will do as we continue and we go into the next gen. I think The Last of Us Part 2 is probably the best example of that, where, hey, if you shoot somebody in the leg, shoot somebody in the arm, I mean, they're going to feel it, or however you hit them, they are going to react to that hit, to that gunshot, to the slam into the wall. You know what I mean? I think The Last of Us Part 2 does it really well. I don't think this is going to do it as well as that, but you could see it in select gameplay things where, like, if you shoot somebody in the leg, like, they will flip, they'll fly because you hit them there, or they'll sometimes be, like, rocking on the ground right before they die, those kind of things. I mean, those are small details, but in a world, and I know I've talked about the open world, the immersion there, and I know people have said, like, okay, well, look, Mafia isn't like that. This is the kind of stuff, though, that I feel like I'm talking about. You know what I mean? It's small details. It's making the world, again, feel alive. And it doesn't have to just mean when I'm driving around, I want all of these different things to do. In fact, again, I know that that's just not how Mafia works. What I mean, though, is I want a living, breathing city. I want in missions to feel like everybody is alive. And in fact, they've talked about, like, enemies are pretty smart. They will flank you. They'll do different things to get you out of certain spots. Like, again, those are small things, but they're actually not small. They make a load of difference at the end. So that's kind of what I mean. And again, every time, this is an example of a game. Every time I see it, it continues to prove itself to me, where it's like I can keep coming up with things that I'm still worried about, but again, they're very small. I'm really not worried about all that much. Like when I see a gameplay presentation, when I see a trailer, I'm not thinking in the back of my head, oh man, hopefully they pull it off. No, I'm just thinking pure excitement. I'm thinking this has me hooked. I think everything is going to be really, really good. I cannot wait to jump into, you know what I mean? Like I want to see those visuals on my TV, not on my laptop, on my TV, with me playing it. I want to see the story play out that I don't know what happens because I've never played the first Mafia. I'm outside of it. Nobody's spoiled it for me, thank God. And hopefully we can keep it that way, right? I want to experience this story. So that is really, in a nutshell, that's what it is. This preview thing that people people got to do last week. Firstly, I would have loved to be invited, but I wasn't. Secondly, it just constantly adds on to, yes, there are small things. That racing thing where I think Ryan McCaffrey of IGN, he said it. There's like a racing mission where you have to steal like a race car and you have to do like a race lap, but the enemy, your competitors basically are literally almost flawless, so you have to be flawless. That scares me because I hate those kind of missions, and normally I get stuck on them and I can't beat them. And so hopefully they patch that or they change that, or maybe he's just not good at playing, right? I hope one of those things is true, because I really don't want to be stuck on, say, like a racing mission for like 2 hours where it's like I just can't freaking beat these enemies. You know what I mean? Hopefully that doesn't happen. That did worry me, but besides that, everything else did not worry me. Everything else just sounded so amazing. Everything looks amazing in this game. Cannot wait for it. So another gushing video. Sorry about that, but I think people do appreciate that, because I think a lot of people are very, very excited for this game. So guys, let me know in the comments below, what do you think? Did you see the media preview stuff that happened last week? Are you still excited about this game? Here we are. I mean, we're almost into September at this point. Tomorrow, right? September 1st. We're in the month pretty much, okay? So we're only like 3-4 weeks away from getting the game. I will be getting the game. I'll be covering the game. I'll be live streaming the game, all that kind of stuff. Loads of content on Mafia as we get later on through September, okay? Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you're subscribed, have the bell icon turned on, and I will see you all for tomorrow's video.